you have to compute two. It's better to write TWA2. Okay, two endpoint DFTs using single endpoint DFT. That's your heading. So you may be asked to compute two 4-point DFTs, say X of n, Y of n. You have two sequence. The thing goes like this. I will just tell you the theory first, then we'll see the problem. Okay. So you have to consider a sequence. Let G of n and H of n be the two sequence. So the thing is, you have to compute the endpoint DFT of G of n and H of n. That is the question. So you have two sequence. You have to compute the endpoint DFT. Let it be G of k is your first answer, and for the second sequence, let the DFT be H of k. So there is nothing special in this thing, right? You can compute definitely endpoint DFTs. Now the thing what you have to do is you have to perform only single endpoint DFT. So to do this, you need two endpoint DFT. Here you need one endpoint DFT. Here you need another endpoint DFT. Instead of that, you have to find G of k and H of k. Provided G of n and H of n is given to you, you have to find G of k and H of k using a single endpoint DFT. That is the task. Okay. Instead of using two endpoint DFTs, you have to use a single endpoint DFT. Is that clear? That's why I have written two endpoint DFTs using single endpoint DFT. And the method is, first, let me formulate a sequence. Let me formulate a sequence, say X of n, that is equal to G of n plus J into H of n. I'm writing like this. Okay, so for example, if you consider G of n equal to, we will work out this example. Theory for your understanding, I'm just giving you this example. We will work it out later. So consider 1, 2, 0, 1 is your sequence. Say 1, 2, 0. And say H of n is say 2, 2, 1, 1. Then X of n will be nothing. X of n equal to, you combine the real, you take the first sequence as real part and second sequence as imaginary part. So 1 plus 2j is the first element for X of n. Second element is 2 plus 2j. Third element is 0 plus 1j. Fourth element is 1 plus 1j. So this is what X of n is. Formulate. So X of n is denoted like this in mathematically, G of n plus J into H of n. You should be able to express or you should be able to explain this thing theoretically also. That's why we are looking into the theory part. Okay, X of n equal to G of n plus J into H of n express. So this is the first step. So you have combined two sequence to get a single sequence. Now I will use a single endpoint DFT so that I will get the answer as X of k. Got it. I have the answer X of k. So X of k consists of G of k and H of k terms. Now the important task is you have to split it into two. So X of k, the answer X of k will have, X of k is, you have taken only single endpoint DFT, that is for the sequence X of n, where X of n is having G of n and H of n as real and imaginary part. Now the next thing is you have to split G of k to get, you have to split X of k to get your G of k and H of k back. So this can be done with the help of this equation. So you have to by heart this equation, 1 by 2 into X of k plus X conjugate of say n minus k, and next thing is 1 by 2 into X of k plus X conjugate of n minus k by 2. That's it. 1 by 2 into X of k minus X conjugate of n minus k all divided by 2. That is 1 by 2. So you can use these two equations to get G of k and H of k. So this is an easy method, or a method where you can save time. That's what we are looking at this thing. When you implement this in a processor, you can, instead of computing this single endpoint DFTs, you can go for instead of using these two endpoint DFTs, you can go for this single particular endpoint DFT, and later you split your answer as G of k and H of k. Is that okay? In this section, this problem. This is the theory part, or this is a theoretical explanation that you have to give if you're asked to explain this thing theoretically. Equations note ചെയ്തെങ്കിൽ പറയാ, we will move to the problem. We will try to solve these things. We will work out this. We will implement this theory for this particular exam. So if you're asked to write it theoretically, it should be very peculiar. You have to explain all these things. Consider two sequence g of n and h of n. Let g of k be the DFT. You have to write those sentence. പലർക്കും ഇതെല്ലാം എഴുതാൻ മടിയാണ്. Okay, let ഇങ്ങനെ നോട്ട് ചെയ്താലും മതി. Let g of k is the DFT of g of n. Okay, then ഇങ്ങനെ ഒന്ന് mathematically കാണിക്കാം. Then let h of k be the DFT of h of n. Then ഇതിനെ ഒന്ന് mathematically കാണിക്കാം. Then instead of using these two endpoint DFT, you can use a single endpoint DFT. So the method is you have to combine the individual sequences like this x of n. So there is a limitation for this particular method. This is applicable only for real sequence. So the heading can be modified like this: compute two endpoint DFT or two endpoint DFT of real sequence. I would like to modify it like this: of real sequence. Always, it's not necessary that your sequence is real. See the sequence. This is an imaginary sequence, right? It's a complex sequence. So your sequence can be complex also. So this method is applicable only for real sequence, because you have to combine two real sequence to formulate a complex sequence in this. So if the sequence g of n and h of n are complex, this method is not applicable. Okay, this is only for real sequence. So we can say that consider two real sequence g of n and h of n. You can start like that. അതൊക്കെയാണ് അതിലൊരു പെർഫെക്ഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന എക്സ്പ്ലനേഷൻ. അല്ലാതെ വെറുതെ ഈക്വേഷൻ എഴുതി വെച്ചാലും എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെയാണ്. ബട്ട് ബോത്ത് ആർ ഡിഫറെന്റ്. രണ്ട് ഇംപ്രഷൻ ആണ് എക്സാമിനറിൽ ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. നമുക്ക് ഈ കാര്യങ്ങൾ വ്യക്തമായിട്ട് അറിയാമെങ്കിലേ നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനെ എഴുതാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. അല്ലാത്ത ഒരാൾക്ക് ഈ ഒരു രണ്ട് വരയും കുറിയും എക്സും എച്ചും ഒക്കെ കാണുള്ളൂ ഉത്തരത്തിൽ. ഓക്കെ, സോ ദാറ്റ് മേക്സ് ഗ്രേറ്റ് ഡിഫറൻസ്. അപ്പൊ ഇത് ഓക്കെ ആണോ? അറിയോ ഓൺലൈൻ എല്ലാവരും ഉണ്ടോ? ഓക്കെ, റൈറ്റ്, താങ്ക് യു. Now let's see the problem. The problem method clear ആയൊക്കെ ഫാസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ട്രൈ ചെയ്യാം. എന്റെ കൂടെ തന്നെ സ്ലോ ആയിട്ട് വരണമെന്നില്ല. ഞാൻ എല്ലാവർക്കും പറ്റുന്ന രീതിയിൽ ചെയ്തു പോവാം. നിങ്ങൾ ഫാസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഈ പ്രോബ്ലം കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ യു ക്യാൻ ലീവ്, നോ പ്രോബ്ലം കേട്ടോ. ടൈം വേസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യണമെന്നില്ല. So the method is let me compute g of k and the question is, let me write it as a question. So you have to find 4-point DFT of, this is your question, find 4-point DFT of say 1201 and 2211 using single 4-point DFT. Using single 4-point DFT. That's your question. You have to find the 4-point DFT of two sequences, 1201 and 2211 using single 4-point DFT. So if you are doing direct method, definitely you need two DFTs. So the method is, let me name the sequences first. Okay, let say g of n is equal to 1201 and h of n equal to 2211. Done in the sequence. Now you have to combine the sequence. That is the first step, right? So moving to the first step of combining these two sequence, when I equation at h of n, that is equal to 1 plus 2j, then 2 plus 2j, then 0 plus 1j. So let me write as j, then 1 plus 1j. So that is 1 plus j. So this is your x of n. What is the next step? What's the step in the
x of k?
Yeah, just find x of k. To do that, you can use matrix method or you can use equations. Just get me the answer. Work it out and get me the answer. എളുപ്പമുള്ള ഒന്ന് രണ്ട് എലമെന്റ്സ് ഞാൻ ഫില്ല് ചെയ്യാം. ഫസ്റ്റ് എലമെന്റ് എന്താണ്? സം ഓഫ് ദ സീക്വൻസ്, റൈറ്റ്? സോ സം ചെയ്യാം. 1 2 plus 1 3 plus 1 4 plus 2j 4j 5j 6j 4 plus 6j isn't it? Comma. Second time you do that mathematically. In the third term, you have the shortcut. This minus this plus this minus this. So you try that. So that will be minus 2. Minus plus minus will get cancelled. Plus minus will get cancelled. So 1 minus 2 minus 1 plus 1. So that will be 0. Answer minus 2. One minus 2 minus 1.
Minus 2, sir.
That will be minus 2. You find the other terms also. Okay. So using equation, find this term. What will be that? ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞവരെ എനിക്ക് ആൻസർ തരാം കേട്ടോ. This will be 2, I think. 2 or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this will be
2.
ഇവിടെയാണ് എനിക്കൊരു കാര്യം പറയാനുള്ളത്. According to the shortcut method that we have discussed, ഇതിന്റെ കോൺജുഗേറ്റ് ആണ് ഇവിടെ വരുന്നത് അല്ലെ. പക്ഷെ ഇത് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കിയവർക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും this is a minus j2 ആണ് വരുന്നത്. Sorry, plus j2. So നമ്മുടെ ഷോർട്ട്കട്ട് ഇവിടെ ഇല്ല. The reason is that's applicable only for real sequence. കേട്ടോ, റിയൽ സീക്വൻസ് വരുമ്പോൾ മാത്രമേ അത് പറ്റുള്ളൂ. ഹിയർ നമ്മുടെ സീക്വൻസ് റിയൽ ആണോ? X of n is not real. X of n is no longer real. G of n and H of n was real, but X of n is a complex sequence. Got it? X of n is a complex sequence. 1 plus 2j, 2 plus 2j. So for a complex sequence, you cannot guarantee that this is the conjugate of this. That won't be like that. So should be very careful when doing that. So when this is 2, will not be 2. This is j2. That you have to try the equation, or you have to use the matrix method. Clear, I am?
Yes, sir.
So this is your x of k. Now let's move to the final step. So to do the final step, see, this was your equation, right? X of k, you need x of k. Obviously you got that. Then to do this, it's very easy to write like this. You can write this equation in a single step. So you need x conjugate of n minus k, and n is 4 in our case. So you need x conjugate of 4 minus k. Okay, x conjugate of 4 minus k. In exam, you can write that directly. And for time being, let me write x conjugate of k, and let me denote 4 minus k, or let me compute 4 minus k later. So let me write x conjugate of k. So that is 4 minus 6j, then 2 minus 2, and this is minus j2. So this is x conjugate of k. Now you find x conjugate of 4 minus k. So just try to do that. Either you can substitute different values of k7, k equal to 0, right? So this will be x conjugate of 4 minus 0. So x conjugate of 4. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 means repetition of the sequence. So that will be 4 minus 6j. Next thing, substitute k equal to 1. തൽക്കാലം ഇങ്ങനെ നോക്കാം, പെട്ടെന്ന് ഞാൻ ഷോർട്ട് കട്ടും പറയാം. K equal to 1, 4 minus 1. So that will be 3. So x of 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. That is minus j2. Then when k equal to 0, 1, and 2. When k equal to 2, this is 4 minus 2, that is 2. So 0, 1, 2. Second index, idan index ato 0, 1, 2, 3. So x conjugate of 2 is minus 2. Then when k equal to 3, last one, this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Third index, when k equal to 3, x conjugate of 4 minus 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So x conjugate of 1. X conjugate of 1 is 2, 1. So you can write it as 2. So the easiest thing is, you copy the first element as such. First element angane copy, then middle element, then flip the remaining elements. First element change virilla, that will be as such. Flip the remaining elements. 2 minus 2 minus 2j ennulla order thirichezhudha. Minus j2 minus 2 2. Right to left like edudha. That's it. Do as per your convenience. ഇതിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും ക്ലാരിറ്റി ആർക്കെങ്കിലും വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പൊ ചോദിക്കാം. ബേസിക് സിഗ്നൽ പ്രോസസിംഗ്, സിഗ്നൽ അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ. Is that fine? ആർക്കെങ്കിലും ഇതിൽ ക്ലാരിറ്റി വേണമെങ്കിൽ ചോദിക്കാം. കൺഫ്യൂഷൻ ഉണ്ടോ? എക്സ് ഓഫ് കെ അതിന്റെ കോഞ്ചുഗേറ്റ് എടുത്തു. മേ ബി ദ പ്രോബ്ലം വിത്ത് ദിസ് തിങ്. This is same as x conjugate of minus k. n modulo form എഴുതുമ്പോൾ x conjugate of minus k എന്ന് എഴുതിയാൽ മതി. എന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ജസ്റ്റ് ടൈം റിവേഴ്സൽ ആണ്. ടൈം റിവേഴ്സൽ ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ ഇതാണ് അതിന്റെ ലോജിക്. ഫസ്റ്റ് എലമെന്റ് അതേപടി കോപ്പി ചെയ്യുക, ബാക്കി എലമെന്റിനെ റിവേഴ്സ് ഓർഡറിൽ എഴുതുക. That is time reversal. Or we can try this mathematically. Say substitute to get the first element. First index is 0, right? You call it as say y of k. Okay. Y നമ്മൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. Okay. You call it as y of k. So this is y of k. So how will you calculate y of 0? Substitute k equal to 0. Y of 0 is what? X conjugate of 4. 4 minus 0, that is 4. X conjugate of 4. Look over here. What is x conjugate of 4? 3 കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഈ സീക്വൻസ് പീരിയോഡിക് ആണ്. 4 വരും, റിപ്പീറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. That element is 4 minus 6j. That's how I got it. Now y of, say this index is 1. Okay, this is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So y of 1 എങ്ങനെ calculate ചെയ്യും? Y of 1, this is actually y of 1. Y of 1 is x conjugate of 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. So x conjugate of 3, you look at this sequence. This is the x conjugate sequence. X conjugate of 3 is minus 2j. That's why I have written y of 1 equal to minus 2j. So that's it. You split this to get g of k and h of k. G of k and h of k. Split it. Either you can write the steps or you can calculate it in your mind. So let me write g of k. What was the equation for g of k? Here you have, this was g of k, right? First sequence plus second sequence by 2, right? So in our case, this is the first sequence and this is the second sequence. So add these two things. 6j minus 6j will be 0. 4 plus 4, 8. 8 by 2. So that will be 4. That is the first element. Likewise, you compute the other elements. So next is 2 minus j2, right? 2 minus j2 divided by 2. So that will be 1 minus j. 1 minus j. Next thing is j plus minus 2. So that is, minus 2. This is minus 2 plus minus 2. That is minus 4. Minus 4 by 2. This will be minus 2. And the last element, this is 2j plus 2. So 2 plus 2j by 2. So that will be 1 plus j. Here you can see that middle element, and here you have the symmetry. Why? Why you have the symmetry over here? Because your first sequence or the sequence g of n, that is a real sequence. So definitely here you will have the symmetry. So this is applicable only to real sequences. So either you can verify it like this also. First element will be sum of all the elements. 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4. That's valid. Then x of 0, 1, 2. E element. E element compute here. We have the shortcut x of n by 2, x of 4 by 2, x of 2. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Plus 0 is minus 1. Plus 1, that will, minus 1. That will be minus 2. So everything is valid over here. Now let's find h of k. What was the equation for h of k? X of k minus x conjugate of n minus k. So this is x of k and this is x conjugate of n minus k. Take the difference divided by 2. So just take the difference of these two sequences. 4 minus 4 will become 0. 6j minus, there is one mistake. Equation lori cherry mistake under. Here you have a j term also. Here you have a j term. നിങ്ങൾ തിയറി പാർട്ട് എഴുതിയെടുത്ത് കറക്റ്റ് ചെയ്തോണേ. Really sorry. H of k, the equation is 1 by 2j. It's 1 by 2j. So let's find h of k. 6j minus of minus. So 6j plus 6j is 12j divided by 2j. So that will be 6. Right? Similarly, find the other terms. So again, 2 plus 2j minus j2. So that will be 2. Simply 2. Minus of minus, this will become plus, right? This thing, this is x of k. So 2 minus minus. So 2 plus 2j divided by 2j. So that will be what? Say 1 minus j. This will be 1 minus j. Denominator j വരുമ്പോൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യാം? ചെയ്യണം. Second term എന്ന് പറയണം. I'm talking about h of 1. h of 1 equal to this is 2 minus 2j. ഒരു പ്രോബ്ലം ചെയ്ത് കാണിക്കാം minus 2j. So this is minus of minus will become plus divided by 2j. Okay, so this is independent divide here. 2j divided by 2j, that will be 1 plus 2 by 2j. Okay, 2 by 2j, 2 will get cancelled. 1 by j is minus j. So this will be 1 minus j. Then I'm going to minus j. J under multiply here. So here you will get j. Here you will have j square. J square will become minus 1. That's why it's 1 minus j. Right? So similarly, find the remaining terms. This will be 0 and this will be 1 plus j. And that's your final answer. So you have find the 4-point DFT of g of n, that is g of k, and 4-point DFT of h of n, that is h of k, using only a single 4-point DFT. So that is the method. Just go through this and ask me if you have any doubts.